Glad to have you with us today. And joining us is Dawn Rains. She helps run Treehouse, which is our partner for 37 years as we help foster kids around the Puget Sound area. Dawn, thank you for joining us as we talk about holiday magic.
Thanks for having me.
37 years. I am so excited to be here with KIRO Newsradio this year because I have not been a part of this until this year.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. For those who don't know Treehouse, just give us the nuts and bolts. You guys do such important work.
Yeah, Treehouse is Washington's leading organization focused on improving education for kids in foster care. We also just fill all of those important gaps. Treehouse was started by social workers back in the day where they were just tired of seeing the kids on their caseloads going without all the little extra things that make a childhood a childhood. So they started raising money amongst themselves for things like birthday presents and swimming lessons and summer camp and, all of those things that are so important to your childhood experience. We wanted to create as much normalcy as we could for our kids that are not in a normal situation. And then pretty soon about a third of the requests were for clothing. And so what started out as a clothing closet is now a full-scale retail operation, just no cash changes hands, where we provide new and very, very gently used clothing, shoes, school supplies, toys, anything a young person might need to, fit in and feel good. We know that when kids fit in and feel good, they go to school, much more likely to show up. And then in the mid-90s, we started experimenting, with education and today run a couple of statewide education programs that really help young people stay on track to graduate high school and also resolve education barriers that are specific to kids in foster care around enrollment and transition when they come into care and change placements, around special education, student discipline, just make sure that our kids have everything that they need to really level the playing field.
Give us an idea. What is the state of foster care in Washington State in 2025? Approximately how many kids are in the services, and what do you see as some of the issues that we need to address?
Yeah, absolutely. So statewide on any given day, there are about 5,000 children and youth in foster care across our state. And that is in some ways good news. It's down about half from about a decade ago. So we are making good progress, wrapping supports around families to keep them together, which is really the goal. But there are still 5,000 young people across our state who are waking up today in places, with families that they may not know, may be separated from their siblings, worrying about whether they're going to see their mom this week. I would say Washington State is a leader in placing young people with kin, so with family or with someone else they know. So about a little over half of our young people actually get to stay, sort of in a placement with someone they know, which it really, really helps their stability and their outcomes. So we're excited about some of the changes we see there. But our young people in foster care, experience so much transition, so much trauma, so much loss when they come into foster care that it's really, really critical that they have this sort of extra layer of support. In terms of other issues happening in the foster care system, I would say, we're always short of placements. We always say that whether you have 5 minutes or a lifetime, there's lots of things you can do to help young people in foster care. I am a former foster parent.
I was just going to bring that up because you bring such a unique perspective.
Yeah, I was lucky, and the boys that were with me were lucky. This is almost 20 years ago now, but I had two little guys who were with me for over a year. They were 3 years old and 17 months old when they came to me. In their case, the foster care system worked exactly the way it was supposed to, gave their family a chance to get their life kind of back together, and they were able to return home, and they've remained there. They've now grown up and graduated high school, and, it's so great to see, when those outcomes are positive. And I think a lot of people don't know, it's kind of people may not know about 65% of kids are going to actually go back to their birth families. Some will have to remain in long-term guardianship or foster care or be adopted, but a big chunk of kids are going to go back to their families.
And do you keep in touch?
We don't.
No?
No, we don't. It was so long, and we felt more like it would be more for our benefit than
Right.
for theirs, but
I ask
think
because,
about them every day,
of course,
even after, all these years.
I've spoken to a young man who, at the age of 10, picked up a hockey stick because Treehouse was there
Yep,
for him.
absolutely.
But one of the things he told me that I thought was awesome is that there is still a relationship with Treehouse now that he's off to college. He's playing hockey at WSU, but he still is in touch with Treehouse. And you kind of grow together through the years.
Yeah, I would say two things that are really unique about our approach is that young people become part of Treehouse when they enter foster care, when they come into foster care, when they get referred to us. But we stay with them regardless of what happens to their child welfare case. So they may be adopted or they may go back home, but we continue to work with them. We know it's such an important transition. We want to make sure that they have everything they need. It's not a time to remove supports. And then we also help our young people transition to their post-secondary plan, whatever that looks like. If they're going to college, if they're going into an apprenticeship, for example, military, anything that they are going to pursue, we help sort of connect them to the next step and provide some intensive coaching post-high school. And then we continue to provide those material and financial resources to young people up to age 22, which is 1 year beyond when they can, our young people can stay in foster care up to 21 if they choose to, which has been a great innovation in terms of improving their education and work employment outcomes.
Don, I want you to help a person listening, a person watching right now, connect the dots, because we're talking about being supportive, about helping in all aspects of their lives. But when we look at the homelessness crisis right now, when we look at drug abuse, foster kids are disproportionately affected by this. And what Treehouse is doing is stepping in and helping prevent that. Can you just talk about how important your work is in helping these kids?
Absolutely. I mean, we view the education work that we do with our young people as primary youth homelessness and youth incarceration prevention. We know we have plenty of data that says when our young people do not graduate high school, that they are disproportionately end up in poverty, experience homelessness or housing instability, and incarceration at very, very high rates. And when they do graduate, they have so many more choices available to them. And so, yeah, we think that this is, such a critical investment in our young people. I always say we can put a relatively small amount in investment in now, or we can, as a community, pay a lot later and also have so much personal tragedy, happen for those individual young people that could have been prevented. So, we feel very strongly about the services that we provide, really helping people young people stay on track. Oftentimes, our Treehouse education specialist is the person who has been with the young person the longest. They may have moved placements multiple times. Their caseworkers have turned over. Oftentimes, our Treehouse staff person is the person who's walked the whole path with them.
Talking with the CEO of Treehouse, Don Rains. So tell me more about Holiday Magic, because you have been involved for a long time.
Absolutely.
How long?
I've been at Treehouse almost 17 years. And I joke that I played every leadership role except CFO, which is probably a good thing. But so I adore Holiday Magic. I have a personal story about Holiday Magic. I did an internship in college at the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and I worked on Holiday Magic.
I love it. And you've stayed with it.
At the age of 20. And now it's such a full circle moment that Treehouse now is so involved with Holiday Magic, and has been for nearly 20 years. And the holidays are a really special time for us. We feel this is such a critical time to help young people experience that sense of normalcy. If you could imagine what it would be like, say on Christmas morning, a young person wakes up and there are no gifts under the tree for them. You can imagine how that feels, and then how it continues to feel when you go back to school and everyone's talking about what they got for Christmas, and so Holiday Magic has always been about providing one significant gift, the kind of centerpiece gift for that young person that then that foster parent or relative caregiver can kind of build around potentially. A lot of our families that step up and as foster parents often don't have the resources, to provide all the things that families would love to be able to provide for kids. And so, our KIRO listeners have been such important partners in just making the holidays a little bit brighter for our young people.
What are some of the things you're hoping to accomplish on Holiday Magic Day? Somebody hasn't heard about it before. What happens around here, and what are people able to do to help you out?
Absolutely. Well, of course, we love to tell the story of Treehouse, and I think listeners will have lots of opportunity to hear from our young people, from our staff, from some caregivers, others that are involved in our life in providing all of these supports to young people. And, it's such an important day, not only for the generous support that we receive that day to make holiday magic happen, but also to support Treehouse all year long. Some of our longest donors now heard about us first on Holiday Magic, and so we're always hoping we're going to make new friends, expose more people to this important work that we're doing. We always say young people come into foster care through no fault of their own, and we feel that as a community we have a special responsibility to them to make sure that they have every opportunity to succeed and to experience what all kids experience. And KIRO listeners are such an important part of making that happen.
We are honored to help spread the word.
It is such a great opportunity for them to know that this is a community that loves them.
Absolutely.
They are loved, and this is something we can all do to help.
Yeah.
Dawn Rains with Treehouse. Looking forward to Holiday Magic, and thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. And we are so looking forward to it. It's one of our favorite days of the year.
Can't wait to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.